Hello. So I am back with another reaction, and today I'm still going to be covering David E. Taylor, but I am also showing what I feel are the similarities in IAG Farm. So this is another angle, and this will be Vicky Yowie, someone that he dated while he was doing all of this, that wants to talk more about what she experienced. So this is a one-on-one interview that she's having with someone, and this is a more recent interview. So there's a lot of different material that she has out there, but this particular one is more recent. So I'm going to go ahead and start it here. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And I know it's not going to be easy. So it's going to be hard. It's already making you emotional. It is. Why? Because when I spoke out against this, I had so many people saying, you just don't want to score. We cheated on you, we got names and look up women. But I knew it was more than that. I knew it was more than that. And I got criticized. Just people just thought I was crazy. But I knew this man was a wicked man. And I spoke out. And when I went on social media, I never got caught. Because as a Christian, we're quite honest, we shouldn't be doing what I did with this man. So when she says that she didn't get caught, she's not saying like she was doing the things that he was doing and she didn't get caught with him. But she's saying that she was doing things behind the scenes, relationship wise, that she knew was not things that a Christian woman should be doing. And then for her to have the platform that she has, to have the amount of attention that she has on her, and she knew what she was doing behind closed doors. So she's saying that she didn't get caught in that way, but not get caught being a part of his scheme. I didn't get caught in anything. God spoke to me to speak and you need to confess to the world. You're a gospel recording artist. You're with this man. He has convinced you that you are in a okay relationship because he's best friends with Jesus and he's immune from all of that and you're going to be okay. He said, God just really got me. I was saying stuff to David. And he just said, right, he said, oh, it's okay. I'm best friends with Jesus. But being a preacher's kid, I knew it was wrong. And so I spoke. So she knew it was wrong. She said being a preacher's kid, she knew the things that what she was saying was wrong, and she did nothing about it. Whatever was missing in her that she wanted so bad from him that she felt like he was filling that void allowed her to ignore what she knew better than. So it's very easy to get caught up in somebody's deception because you're hungry for something. There's something in you missing that you feel like it's okay to go against better judgment to satisfy your flesh. And that's where she was with this situation, satisfying her flesh and going against her better judgment. Does that sound familiar? Wanting a husband so bad that you go against your better judgment and you allow for the things that we're seeing now. Okay. And it's actually still on the internet. It's about 20 minutes, and I just told everybody what was going on. Within 3 weeks, I stopped counting at 100 women that told me that they were in a relationship with David. Many of them said they were his wife. They said that he said to keep it just between them because church people are messy. That's what he told me. So church people are messy, which sounds familiar to calling people haters. So to keep me from being judged for what I know is wrong, I'm going to play with your head and tell you just don't say anything for this reason. And yet again, she knows better, but she wants a relationship so bad that she will go against what she knows better than to do. She has people telling her that I'm his wife, and she says she stopped counting at 100. Wife or some type of sexual relationship, and she stopped counting at 100. So that means it was way more than that. And this is when women that he is taking advantage of over and over and over again. So church people message with me, and I'm gonna marry you one of these days, but just And what that reminds me of is when Tim has told his stories about having options before Megan, and she won. And everybody always asks, what was the winning factor? What made you choose Megan? He does not really say. But when they're trying to break a woman down, they have to figure out who is going to be the weakest link. Who can I run over? Who is going to ask me the fewest amount of questions before they give in to what I asked for? All those types of things matter when you have somebody that wants to take over your situation, wants to take your identity to be their own. Um, don't tell anybody. And so all these women are out there thinking that this man is going to be the one that they're going to marry, loves them. He loves them. There was times he would text me and he would just say, hey, what's going on, baby, whatever. And I would respond, he would say nothing back, and the next day you get, And so one time I remember saying, David, we're supposed to get married at some point. We haven't talked in 3 weeks. He said, oh, he finally would call me and said, I don't know about us. He said, you just seem very unstable. And I said, oh, maybe you're right. You're so busy doing the things of God, and you're traveling. And I'm sorry that I guess I was asking too much, so that I'm back out again. And so, but I had a lady even today, she just, So in that moment right there, he's playing with her mind. He's trying to break her down. So every woman has a different position in his life. They're there for his benefit. So you do this, you do this, you do this. She has a huge platform. She has an audience. She has the eye and the ear of those people already. So he's breaking her down to the point that now she's chasing him because you were giving me all this attention. We're supposed to be getting married. What happened? What did I do wrong? She automatically takes blame for him really just playing with her mind. Whole time he has it set up because he wants what she has. He wants her audience. Does that sound familiar? You have this house over here. You have this ministry base. You're uh, going out and helping people, and people trust you. Can I get some of that trust? Can I just uh, leech off of you and get some of that trust so that I can use it for my good? Does it sound familiar? Let's go on. Moved her from Maryland and moved her a few blocks from his home in St. Louis. And she said, when I saw you come out and say what you said, the first 3 words, I knew you were speaking the truth. Because everything you said about him, he did it with me. And so that's why the women believed me. The women believed me. The Department of Justice says David Taylor and Michelle Brandon are facing charges of human exploitation, financial crimes, including forced labor and money laundering, and that they did not permit people who were working for their call center victims to leave the house without permission, demanded that his armor bearers transport women from ministry houses, airports, and other locations, Taylor's location, and ensured the women transported to Taylor took Plan B emergency contraceptives. Does any of this surprise you? Oh, no. No.
For me, I was a little bit different. I'm not because I was the gospel singer that he had become. And so I was never around all of a sudden talking about working 50 hours, not even. It kept me from all that. I flew in San Luis. He would come to Louisiana, New Orleans, would meet up in New Orleans. But I was, when I came out with my story, then everybody else said, well, listen, I'm the one that got the EBT cards when everybody got it the first month, and they all had given me, and I would go to the grocery store, and, that food would be gone, and we had to wait for it, and so other stories started coming after you spoke out. So these allegations don't surprise you because you've heard of these from others. Because way back when, I had so many people call me and say we've been praying for you. But some people reached out to me, even my family, and people that they said that there was something not right with him. And I was thinking,
So she said even her family reached out to her to let her know something is not right with him. So people can be on the outside looking in and know that you're in a bad situation when you can't see it for yourself. And when you're blinded by love or pleasing the flesh, the saying goes, love is blind. Like you don't see it for yourself. And if you're not willing to hear other people, then you're going to just get deeper into that situation that means you no good. And that's what I feel like we have seen with Megan is family warning her that this is not a good move for you, and her choosing the man over her family, and them having to back off and just allow for her to live the life that she chose. But I don't think anybody saw their situation and did not speak up on it. And I also feel like that may be part of seclusion is to get away from anybody who over the years tried to save her.
everybody says there's something not, right. And he said, but when you're in at my level, you're going to get persecution. He said, you're going to stand with me. And there's different things that he would say. He sent me a YouTube video, and he said, I want you to check this out. And he said, it was a video from that apartment that he had in Detroit, just a not fancy, and he said, he's showing people his apartment, and he said, I only make $49,000 a year. He said, and he said, this is where I stay. So I called him, or he called me, he said, what do you think? I said, David, that's deceptive. I said, we have two Bentleys, a Rolls Royce. We have those big houses in St. Louis. He said, okay, then Stephanie goes, uh, well, you just need to go with my flow. You need to, your mind is not right. And he just totally just.
So he tried to sell her on a story, and she wasn't going for it. At least she was speaking up. She was very vocal, because I don't know for how long Megan was. They do give stories of her being defiant, what he calls defiant, early on, but to what extent we don't know. But those years are long gone. She's no longer that person. So at least she did speak up when she would see little things and test him because he wanted her to believe a certain narrative. So if he can sell her on this is all I make, then maybe she will come out off of some of her money to help him out. So he's saying he only makes 49,000 a year, and she starts calling him out on owning business buildings and Bentleys and all the other stuff that she's seen. So, do you own these things or do you only make 49,000? He didn't like that. She tested him. She was giving pushback. So that's why she ended up with that conversation of I don't know about this marriage because she was not going to just roll over and take it like he needed for her to do.
Why did you even ask me my opinion? So I was like that was a red flag. And I had many red flags during this 16-month relationship, many. But I ignored a lot of them. One of the red flags, according to what I saw in your book, I guess was when you first were involved with the church, that first time you came to get sing when the worship went till I think you said 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, yeah. And is that where the first time maybe you looked to see at the cult likeness of this church because they have these symbols? I did at that time. I just thought, wow, they really love God. You know, I really that early on, I didn't really even think it was a cult. But that night at 3:30 in the morning, we took a picture together, and he sent me. So about midnight, no, not midnight, well, because that was 3:30, about 5 in the morning. He messaged me. He said, "Send me that picture," and I said, "Okay." I sent him, and he came back and said, "OMG, you're beautiful." Now I was divorced, and I, my ex-husband, he would say I was pretty, cute, but every woman must hear that word beautiful. And so I said, "Lord, the next time you send
And there you have it. So that was his end for her. That was what she was missing. She needed for somebody to validate that for her. And she wanted it to the point that she went down this path with him. That was his wiggle room right there, that moment.
something into my life, please let me use the word beautiful." When I got that text, I said, "Here it is." And so that was the beginning of my really downfall with that because I just thought that God, he said, "Oh, Jane, you're beautiful." And that did it. Like you said, he knew what to say. Yeah. And how wasn't even attracted to him. You've seen him. Yeah. Okay, I'm just saying, it was the craziest thing because I was, the one I was at would come to this meeting, I was like, "Hey, these women are so beautiful, man." And he said, "Yeah, I'm not. I'm still going here." But come to find out, I found out that he slept with all his spiritual daughters. I wasn't the only one. And it sounds like too in the documents he's charged with, that's mentioned that he made them take a lot of them and transport it to him, take Plan B, contraceptives. He never made you? No, no. We didn't. We weren't together because I didn't live there, so you were there. I was there. He had a house in Detroit of about maybe 18 women, and I know I'm sure 99% of them was with him. How would you describe your relationship with Mr. Taylor? I I thought I was in love with him, but when I look back at it, he really just used me because I have like 1.2 million on my Facebook page, my platform. He would have me promote his book. If I didn't promote his book every day, it was like the end of the world. Like,
So where do we see that? Promote me. Make me feel a certain type of way. Get out there and upsell me. If this week didn't look too good, if the reaction channel said too much, I need for you to do a video and make me feel better. I need for you to come out here at the end of every video and make sure that you repeat what I have already said through the entire video so that people understand that you like it too. The people that like you, make them like me. I'm not I'm not going over too well with everybody. Come out here and use your charm and make them like me too. I need the people that like you to like me.
wanted me to interview people that saw Jesus. He so when I look back on it, he used me for my platform. He did not love me. He did not, because it was all about what I could do for him. You know, um, he kept
All about what I can do for him. Never the other way around. Never. Never. Megan, what can I do for you? Megan, is there something that you're lacking? Megan, do you need? Never. It's always about him. My latest toy, my next project, what I figured out how to do, what I do better than somebody else. me, never considering the other person ever.
He's busy just, promoting his book, and as far as still, I look back at it, I just cannot believe that I got caught up in it. I just can't believe I'm smarter than that. I feel like I'm smarter than that. And the guy is nothing to look. I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, I'm just saying, I like good looking, men. That's one thing. That's the first thing you see. But that's not what attracted you at first. It was what he said to me. He's done a way. I know it's demonic. I know it's manipulative. I know. I mean, some of these women, his main thing, and I think it's in the book. Yeah.
His ways are demonic and manipulative. That's been said over and over and over again when describing what we see at IAG Farms. Demonic and manipulative. For the ones that don't see it, they've been manipulated to the point only God can pull them out of those situations. That's for anybody that's a heavy follower over there of any type.
Giving women is Facebook. He would message them and say they had a Catholic anointing. If you know who that was, she was a powerful woman of God that would pray for people to be healed. People said, "Oh wow, you got a powerful, you remind of Catholic woman," and then he would say, "I was going through Facebook and God told me you're to be my wife." So he has a team with Michelle, Daniel. Man, his name is Daniel's one that set up all these things. They would go on Facebook and they would find a few of women with money, women that, not married. Married too, because he's broke up many marriages. Like, oh, in big stores. There was one video that Michelle posted that said if you have a nickel and you're going to be homeless, if you give up that nickel to still give that nickel up too. Oh yeah, it's just yeah, anything that you have the savings account. I gave a lot of money. I regret it, but I gave a lot of money. He said when I exposed him that they asked him why, he said he kicked me out. He said it wasn't true. He said, well, she's on drugs. She could be part of it. If I'd been on drugs, everybody would have known why. You just, I'm in the public.
So it's never them. They have to talk you down some type of way to make you look bad. And how many times have we watched on IAG where he's calling Megan crazy or saying something about her to make her look less than him? He'll make it seem like she's not as educated as she is. He'll make it seem like she did not already have a ministry of her own, like she was not a missionary. He says it, but then he will go in behind and at video after video, you still watch him cutting her down like he's the one that's having to make her be who she is. He's the one that's building her up to be what she is. But he will undermine anybody. I noticed that especially right before the comments got turned off. If you were defending Megan, he had a problem with that. First of all, your comments are gonna disappear. But then Megan had to go even harder in the paint to try and convince people that he's this great person. Then eventually the comments just, were disabled, period. And that's because he didn't want to hear any more about what he was doing wrong and what people felt like she was doing right.
I just walked away. I just got on social media and I told my story. We got on social media the next night and said, he said, well, she bought her Jaguar. He paid $20,000 for that Jaguar, paid down, and he paid the notes for it. Yeah, but he would pay it full. But what he said, he told her, he said, she came down the street, she was broke, and she didn't have a car. My car was paid off. But I had a Jaguar in the past that I had wrecked. And he knew I love Jaguar. So one day he just said, did you get to Atlanta?
They have to. They have to make those women look smaller than them when the woman has actually already accomplished far more than they have. Their entire reason for having that woman around is because she has more. But they will never admit it, and they will never let people see this woman being greater than them. But that's literally the only reason that she's made it to the point she has with them. She has more of whatever it is that they're needing. She has more, but they will never acknowledge that. They have to make themselves look like these women need them as opposed to the other way around. They need those women. They're feeding off of the woman's resources in some shape, form, or fashion.
I got to go get your Jaguar, And so then he started making up all these stories. And Michelle says, one time I picked Vicky up from the airport, and she wanted barbecue chicken. So we got a barbecue chicken. Instead of using a napkin, she put the barbecue on top of the seat, the roof of my car. Just and everybody was laughing in the comments because if you know me, that's one thing. Unlike when I go to churches, don't give me barbecue. I hate barbecue. And so everybody was laughing because they're like, she's lying because we know about you. So they just, what they're trying to do is discredit me. They couldn't come, they would just come the same stuff. I didn't watch it, but other people told me about it because once I did the video, I broke down and shared my story. I didn't want to hear his voice anymore. I was done. Um,
Not wanting to hear that voice anymore. Now I know that sounds familiar. That voice, like after a person has rubbed you the wrong way, the last thing you want to hear is their voice because it triggers something. It triggers every stupid thing that you know you did that you should not have. It just all comes flooding back at one time on you.
Daystar Television, Joan Lamb, her and her husband, deceased husband Marcus Lamb, flew me to a counseling place for um for 1 week. And when I drove there, and when I pulled in, the lady was on the porch, and I couldn't see my tomorrow. I could not see tomorrow. I could not see tomorrow. I just because my whole world was what me and him would do together, and it was crazy. Even though I was relieved I was able to share this with the world, but she had her dog there. She hugged me. She said it's gonna be okay. And so every day for 7 days, she made me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in between, we go by the fireplace, and she would just show me. We went back to my childhood when I was young. I had some things happen to me when I was 5 years old. And she told me, she says, you were told to keep that a secret at 5. So it was never dealt with. These things were never dealt with. So now, you're 50 and someone's telling you to keep a secret. I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this.
He wore her down mentally to the point that she needed counseling. And that's what I was just saying about anybody that's over there. Nothing but God is going to pull them out of what they're believing right now because for you to speak out against him, you have to not be of God. They will question you real fast. But what kind of Christian would talk down on a family? What type of Christian would not see what's going on? That's really the question. How studied up are you if you don't see it?
He's done that before. Is that why you spoke out? Yeah. After that, all you have is your voice. And you know what? You read the story about how that came out, how I came up with that title. Yeah. They, Michelle was a wicked woman. She put me in that room in Israel, and she told me sit down. Her and Marcia, another lady, I think, yeah, another lady, Marcia, and we started. This is in Israel. We were there for some meeting. He always act like you see his advertisements, like he's going to have 20, 30, 50,000 in stadiums. And you see, he's got the best graphics person, but we show up at his meetings and there's 50, 60. He wanted to be famous so bad that we just wanted, So we're in this ballroom. First off, Michelle texts me. She says, Apostle wants me and Marcia to meet you. Now, Marcia knew I was with David. She did only few people. Apostle and David. Apostle, yeah, I'm sorry. Apostle and David. Sorry, David. And so she said, Apostle wants me to meet with you. And I said, he's my boyfriend. He's been texting hard. What's going on? He said, if you don't meet with us. If you don't accept us, you don't accept him. That was another red flag. I was in here, so I was like, okay, what? This is getting crazy. So I said, no, I'm not leaving y'all. He blasted me. He told me how rebellious I was full of pride. He was on the phone to he really so
Now, blasting her and making her feel some type of way reminds me of the video that I covered where Megan was giving her testimony, but it's like, what did he say? She was repenting, and to this day, everybody is still wondering what was she repenting for and who was she repenting to, because the entire video is Tim, 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 like she's having to apologize to him for him feeling some type of way. It was never really based like a conversation with God where she would be repenting, because we can't repent to each other, you know. So that's what this reminds me of right here.
I'm over this girl. I don't want to get stuck. He paid my way there. Yeah. And so I said, I'm leaving. So I looked at this big ball around. It was like I was on my side of 10 donuts, and it just started. I was crying. I couldn't stop crying. They were saying stuff I never heard of, just making up stuff. You're full of pride, and when you come to the church and you're so demanding, you can ask anybody when I go to churches. I am not a diva. Give me some room temperature water and let's go. I don't have to have certain color of immigrants or nothing like that. I'm not that way. They were saying, oh, I said, shut up. I was like, oh, shut up, you're full of pride. And they're screaming at me. I just sat there and cried. And I kept thinking, if I'm David's queen, how would a king allow his queen to be treated this way? And so,
And that is a very valid question. So they were not married, but even within a marriage, how can you treat your wife that way and expect for people to respect you? How do we watch you ignore things that I feel like she needs? A lot of people feel like she needs, and you make her go without. But you want us to believe that it's all about God and that love is flowing through you and flowing out of you. But we don't see it spread to the people that are directly in your world. It's like you step on them to keep yourself happy.
they said, we're done. You can go. Okay. And I'm walking to the door. And Marcia, and Michelle was telling me, Marcia goes, all you have is a voice, Vicky. I said, I know. And they just, yeah, it's like, there's nothing else to it. And when I decided to write the book, I was praying about a title. And God brought me back to that moment. And He said, yes, I've anointed your voice to sing, but now I've anointed your voice to expose this cult.
Expose, excuse me, expose, not hate, no hating. She wasn't hating. She wasn't being a hater. She's exposing what she knows to be the truth. God anointed her voice at that moment to expose what was going on. So whereas David thinks that he's about to use her platform to make his larger, he actually was made it to where she could use her platform to put him on blast. Nobody but God can set that up.
So that's the title. All you have is a voice, free from the hidden cult. And so I
Free from a hidden cult. Hidden. I think that's a very key part of that whole thing. Hidden. Hidden in plain sight, but it was hidden.
it's so interesting that this is happening now and me sharing all this. On the way over here, I was thinking, Lord, let me say the right things because so much happened in those 16 months. Because I haven't thought about it in about 5 years. I'm not. I wrote the book, Let Them All Sit Down, whatever. whatever, if he ever gets caught, okay. If he don't, you know what? I feel like I told my story, and I'm done with it. I'm done with it. People would message me. I said, first off, don't send me any clips of him. Don't send me anything about him. I'm old. I'm done. I'm done with him. And then when I got that shot a couple of days ago, all I could do was just cry because I messaged the FBI several times and was, what's going on? And sometimes they wouldn't answer. Sometimes they say, it takes time. It takes time. I remember when I had an interview with them, I said, how is it going to take? And they said, just let me tell you this. When we go in, it's over. We have everything. So it may take years. So I feel like I've been vindicated. I feel like with the people that's necessarily said, Vicky, I'm sorry. We didn't believe you. We thought you were just a woman scorn. Um, but I'm so thankful um, for this opportunity to share my story with you. Some people are speaking out now too. Yes. You're one of the very few over the years that spoke out publicly. Yeah, they won't do it because of what would happen. You know, what would happen. You know, one thing I want to say when David was pastor in church in St. Louis, his armor bearer that's somebody that goes around and helps him, you know. Those really true ones that are compensating and they're, you know, he's got a whole other situation wrong. But when he messaged me and told me he had 60 names of 60 women in St. Louis that David slept with, he said, let me tell you something. He said, one time, I got a call from one of the deacons. He said, get David come out to the house. He said, why? He said, we will find out. He told David had his wife didn't come out the house. All the way to the house, David told his wife, said, act like you knew about this one down here and that you forgive him. And she said, what? Well, he said, you'll see. When we got out there, all the 8 deacons were out there and they were confronting him. He slept with every one of their wives.
So he knows he's wrong, and rather than face his demons head on, he tells his wife to act like she already knew and forgave him, and she still don't even know what they're riding into. He still was not man enough to brace her for that before they got there. He still let it be a surprise after they pull up, but just pretend like I forgave. I'm still not going to say it out of my mouth, which means no accountability. Those men standing there still didn't mean anything to him except that somebody was going to have to call him out on his stuff verbally, and they cannot take that tongue lashing. That's something that they cannot take. It's their kryptonite. It's for you to speak down upon them because they think that they have everybody fooled. They think that their words convinces everybody around them to just believe what they're saying when it's actually the opposite. For anybody who uses common sense vigilantly, you see through them and then you don't allow for that to take you in.
Was this Tabitha X, the wife? Tabitha. Um, uh, Growing up in the church, being involved in so many churches across the country, do you worry there may be other situations out there, like what was alleged to happen at the Kingdom of God Global Church? Yes, because when I first wrote the book and I was sharing a little bit about it, I had I had women reach out to me. One lady said, I had our bishop's baby and we sit in the balcony every Sunday. And the child is 5 years old now. He's on the platform with the first lady. And so other quotes. Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to say it's a church. They're all legitimate church. My dad was a pastor. He was a cleanser. But you know what? There's some of these they're cults, you know. And but my whole message was no more secrets. See, I kept a secret. People keep a secret. If you can't go, I just want to say side note. If you can't go down the street with the guy you're dating, and you can't go to a restaurant or go meet his family, you can only meet him in a hotel. There's something wrong. Red flag. Red flag. No more secrets. What would you say to those who are still members and backing Taylor and Brandon? I call this exploring the church, and people are still answering. They say that they're still business as usual and they're still accepting donations. So there are still people that are believing in the message that he was spreading and what they are doing. What do you say to those members? I would say it's over.
How sad is that this man has been arrested and by the FBI, who she just said told her, once we go in, that means we've got it. So they have an ironclad case, and there are people that are still in disbelief and still trying to carry out his pretend mission to this day.
The red flags that you guys have seen, it's true. The thing about it is any cult leader that's out there, cult leader, you what Jim Jones. So then you're always going to have 200, 300 people that's going to keep believing. David preyed on a lot of people that mental illness, people that maybe, I'm not trying to be mean, but just that had weak people. I remember one time I went to his house with my two boys. We spent a couple of days there in St. Louis. And I looked in the bathroom and some of his books. He had some of Jim Jones books. And
So that says a lot. He had a Jim Jones book. So, I had said it before that I believe that they study each other, even if it's not the entirety. How can I do this? How can I make this happen? How did he go about this? It's a scary thing. And then for her to say that she felt like he was preying on mentally ill people, I definitely feel like that goes across the board. Not, I won't say everybody, but something has to be missing for you to just let people take advantage of you like that when you are even told that you're being taken advantage of and you still choose to stay in the situation. Something is going on there that's not right.
I don't think nothing of it at the time. But now I look back on it, he, and I thank God that he went off of Kool-Aid because at that time I probably would have drank the Kool-Aid. I'm just saying, you're reminded. So this guy, uh,
Ooh, she said she probably would have drank the Kool-Aid if he had had some, and she's glad he didn't. Now that's powerful. She knows that that's how far gone she was, that she would have drank it at that point in her life. That says a lot. I feel like IAG Farms is full of Kool-Aid drinkers. Have to be. They have bought into his lies and they only see the fluff. They only see what they want to see. They don't actually dissect it and pay attention to the background. Well, they got a new vehicle, but his wife never got another one. Then after people start talking about it, oh well, that's actually her vehicle. But she didn't choose that vehicle. He chose that vehicle. And we could just go down the list of the little things that, well, big things that happen out there like that. But people choose to turn a blind eye and support them. And how dare you speak against them? How dare you do that? Somebody in the comments from the last video was like, well, how is it a cult and you're talking about a family? How did you watch this video and you still have that question? Well, how am I supposed to answer that? You just listen to everything. It has nothing to do with if it's a family or if it's strangers. But you can lead a horse to water. You cannot make it drink. So I'm not trying to make anybody drink. I'm just literally leading you to the water.
We're just trying to convince you, and we did convince me, convince so many people that he is best friends with Jesus. It's not even biblical how big deal. How years deal. And he healed a whole church, or a whole hospital. Was that your book about how he drove by a hospital and prayed and wants to everyone. So this is what this guy does. He thinks anything he says, everyone's gonna believe it. Like he just say whatever he wants. You know? So
How often does Tim just talk? And I'm like, he says it, and because he says it, he thinks that it's so. And that's what he wants you to believe. It came out of my mouth. There's no more reason to discuss it anymore. Just believe what I said. And if you don't, how dare you question me? You're just supposed to believe it. Just take what I said at face value. Don't say nothing else.
He had all these crutches and wheelchairs on the platform, and so I'm surprised it stayed around 16 months because I was questioning things like that. Because I would be I said, you have all these wheelchairs and on the platform. I'm not seeing anybody walk out. He goes, it builds faith. We just do it because it builds faith. And the only thing
So he's admitting that it's not real when he said it's used just to build faith. He didn't say it, but he said it. That he's admitting that it's fake that we just put on to make people believe that I'm actually healing to build their faith.
What I saw was, and I don't know if it was set up, was he had this guy come up.
It's about like buying a $200 camper to make people believe a storyline that you want them to believe. To go and get rid of a much larger, much better version and go get a $200 that your family can't fit in to fit a narrative. That's what that sounds like. To build faith, or to build donors, or to build subscribers, or to build a storyline. To build, to build, to build. Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors is what IG Farms does.
Got his taste buds back or something. It just something was so like try this and that, try that. I was like, okay. And I wasn't trying to be. I was like, this is great. But I don't know. I just at the point that I decided it's over was when a lady, I'm not going to mention her name, she reached out to me. She says, "Thank you. This is what she's a big part of it. Don't you watching? You know who you are." She says, "Vicky, I know you're part of this ministry because I know I see you coming sick, but I need you to help me. I'm in a relationship with David Taylor." And, and I played dumb. Oh, really? No, she said, yeah. She sent me a picture of her. Yeah. Of course, I call his phone, he don't answer. I call Michelle, they don't answer. I send them a picture. They say she photoshopped it. She's lying. Whatever, you gotta watch people. David's in this level of, with Jesus. People's gonna, wanna make up stuff about, the relationship and things. And then, somebody else, he sent me a text, David did, and we had another lady's name that works there in it's a part of administration, and it had her name on there. I confirmed, so, and then I knew. So the day I exposed him, the day he started telling everybody that I lied, I got meals for Christmas, and I got the whole she's and it said music. And he's telling me I couldn't help but post on social media because this guy's telling me I'm tired of we were never in a relationship. And then when I posted the pictures of him and I together, he said she photoshopped her. I got more people say that he can go into business because honey, those were really, really, really good. How does it feel to see?
And this man was so delusional about his importance and his presence with people that I can't wait to cover the deposition. After this video, I'm probably going to do an IG Farms, just IG Farms, but I am going to get into the deposition and cover it because to see his personality is like the icing on top of the cake for everything that I have covered up to this point. Yeah, that was a mistake.
See these charges and to share your voice. I'm so overwhelmed. I told myself, don't cry, talk slow, don't cry. But I honestly kept believing. There's a song that says, keep believing what you know is true. Keep believing, the Lord will see us through. When the troubles rise in your life and you don't know what to do, keep believing. And that's all I've done. I kept believing. I kept my mind. One thing I learned through all of this is to keep my eyes on Jesus. And there's a song I wrote that says, I'm at peace, even though my heart is breaking. I'm at peace. And that's what I'm at. I'm at peace. And Vicky does expect to testify.
Okay, so that's the end of that. Um, and I just wanted to wrap it up. Hopefully, I tied it together enough to where everybody sees similar patterns. And for them to be a married couple, I'm talking about IAG Farms, to be a married couple, it still seems so one-sided. It doesn't seem like you have two people out there that are making decisions. Only one is making decisions and the other person is reacting to the decisions that are being made, good or bad. And it seems like it's set up to benefit one person. The little crumbs that they get to benefit them is just by happenstance. I have to eat, so y'all get to eat. That's just how I see it. That's my opinion of it. I didn't set out to feed you, but because I have to eat, you get to eat. That's just how I see it. And I wanted to cover this because Vicky is giving the insight of the female perspective, what the female is going through, how she is manipulated into this position in the first place. Now, before I started putting two and two together with this particular situation, I've said multiple times that he has worn her down, and that he has played mind games with her to the point that she is where she is. I've always seen the victim in her and tried to be an advocate for her because she's not speaking up for herself. And mentally, I don't think she's in a place to be able to speak up for herself. Then when you have Vicky say she would have drank the Kool-Aid if he had had some. Well, we see Megan drank the Kool-Aid. So I, it's still happening in other cults or religious groups, but this is just one of many who has been brought to the light. But people see it out at IAG farms and are trying to help avoid destruction. Um, it's there are too many similarities for people to pretend like it's not there. Way too many. And I just really felt like because Megan does not have a voice, she reads a script or goes off of a script that her husband has set up. That it's important for people who can speak up, to speak out, to show awareness, to allow somebody to not be the next victim or to be able to get out of it before it gets too bad for them. But for a person that you see going through it every day, shine a light on it. Try and help in the best way that you can. So she gave a very detailed inside look at how a woman can end up in this position and how hard it is to get out of it and to even get back to yourself after you get out of it. She went to counseling but you can tell she's still a very broken person. She she's fighting for her stability, her mental stability every day to get back to the person that she was. So that is my coverage of this particular video. I am going to press pause on David just for a brief moment and go back to just IAG Farms. But again, I will be covering his deposition because it's important to hear the questions he was asked, but it's also important to see that personality. I really want you all to see his personality. So I'm going to end it here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for sitting down and just going through the reaction with me. I hope that you all enjoyed it and that you found some value in it. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you have not subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscription button. I will be bringing these type of videos or something very similar to it. And I try to post at least twice a week. Um, that schedule may change. It's up in the air right now. But thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did have, let me see if I can find it. I may not be able to find it in this one because it's rare that I don't think I'm going to be able to find it in this one. I don't play around with my features enough on my analytics, but I did want to be able to, okay, Miss Connie. Miss Connie, you did a subscription for my channel um, about 2 weeks ago, and I'm just now seeing it. So first of all, I apologize for that. It's because I do not go through every little tab like I should, but I'm going to do better with that. But I do want to say thank you for your membership subscription, and I'm going to make it be worth your while. Anyone else that's interested, it is available, but I did want to say thank you to Miss Connie. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, but I will be seeing you guys in a couple of days with another reaction. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.